Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Ooh, what are you trying to show for? Anyways, hi guys, welcome to my channel, honey. I am so in love with my makeup today. By the way, if you are wondering how I achieve my makeup looks, you can go over to my shorts on my YouTube page and you will find how I achieve my eyeshadow looks and my lip looks. I don't do the foundation because I feel like it's like the same. So yeah. Hi guys. As you can see by the title, today I am basically just talking about how life was after losing a mom, like the disadvantages of losing a mother. So yeah, let's get into it. So if you've watched my story time of I think the one that says I left home at 18, then you'll find out that we lived with my father, me and my sibling, after my mother passed away. So my mother passed away, and it was very sudden. Like, she was not sick, she just literally went to work and didn't come back. And then later my aunts and uncles told us that she passed away after we were taken from home, and then we went to my uncle's house. But funny enough, when we were at my uncle's house, I had already known that my mom had passed on. Like, about a year ago, this may sound crazy, but a year before, I feel like it was a year before, I had a vision or deja vu or a dream. I really am not sure what it is because I was very young. My mother passed away when I was 8 turning 9, so it was like, it's hard to be sure whether it was a dream or it was a deja vu or it was a vision. But this thing told me, this vision, that just my mother would pass away. So when my uncles eventually told us, I already knew. So okay, after they told us, as I said, I already knew, and I just was like, these guys should just tell us, like, why are they lying to us? Because for the longest time they lied. They were like, oh no, she's in the hospital, and it's like, bruh, just come up with it already, because I really had something that told me that she would pass away, and it was not a fun thing to hear as a kid. I mean, I remember crying after that vision. God is gonna tell the truth sometimes about me, because but anyways, now focusing on the disadvantages of losing a mother. So as you know, in my story time, as I mentioned, the one that says I left home at 18, we moved with my father. When I was conscious, my parents were already divorced, and we were living with my mother as a single parent. As I said in that story time, my father was not really consistent, but we knew who he was. And yeah, so when my mom passed away, I think I expected him to take us in quicker than he did, but as I said, he took time to accept responsibility. And that's one of the disadvantages. Like, no one will take care of your children better than you as the mother, or I don't know, the one that loves them, because I think my mother was the one who just really loved being a mother. I think my parent was still not serious about committing, and I think he just wanted to just visit when he wants to and leave, and I'll never understand what happened there, because also my mother never spoke badly about my parent, my dad. So it's like, okay, but they took time to take responsibility. Like, bro, I remember we were living in my grandparents' house. I remember at some point, then we moved to another one of my aunt's house, then we moved to another one of my aunt's house, then we moved to another uncle. Now that I replay it as a kid, it's like, okay, they were kind of not wanting us. Like, it's like, they didn't want to really take us in, and it kind of hurts me now that I'm older. And it's like, whoa, really, like, no one will take care of your children better than you can. So okay, eventually my dad pulled up his socks, or he common sense came to his head. But I also feel like when his common sense came, it had to be, guys, this may sound crazy, but it had to be something spiritual, because I had a very, very big headache. And I remember I woke up and I told my aunt. She was the one who was waking us up when we were at my grandparents' house, and she woke us up for school. And I told her, I was like, bro, I have this massive headache and I don't think I want to go to school. And it goes back to the disadvantage of not having a mother, because if my mother was there, she would know what to do. But she just was like, oh, okay, no, go get dressed, we'll give you medicine. And I don't even think she gave me medicine after that. I don't remember taking pills when I went to school. But I went to school and I had this headache. This headache was very, 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 very painful. It was not normal. Like, usually as a kid, my sickness was tonsils, and then obviously it would go to being a headache and whatever. But during that time when my mom passed away, it was not a normal headache. I really felt like I just had this big head that day. And I remember my teacher was understanding, and she like let me lay my head down. And I think she was concerned to a point where she called my father. And when he heard how, he even says it now that I'm older, I remember him saying after he heard how I was treated, after he heard I was sick, he was like, okay, no, it's time to take us. And he did not even announce then. He just took us and left, and like, yeah, took responsibility. And I'm grateful for that. But it did take some time, I cannot lie though. I had a time when my mom passed away where I looked more mother in other people. But then I realized, nah, like, I'll never get love the way that my mother gave me love, Yes, my father was there, but he was not necessarily a loving person. Like, he's a little cold. But I think it goes back to his childhood, and that's a story for its own, But the point is the disadvantages of like losing a parent or losing a mother. Yeah, well, that's the point. So I have things written down here so that I don't lose my track of thought. So as I was saying, like, the love that I was seeking from other people, like, but then I grew, I was like, no, actually, no one will ever be my mom, and it's fine, And then you also have situations where you see, okay, you kind of need advice, and you need like guidance, as a child or a person. And then you find that when you ask advice from people, they don't really come from 100%. Like, you tell them how you feel, and you're hoping to like get help in some ways, because you don't have like that person, like a parent who has probably lived and is wise enough to know things. So you say it maybe to your friends, or you say it to your cousins or your aunts, and then you find that when they advise you or when they respond, they're not really coming from 100%, It's almost like trying to keep the conversation going, or almost like a small talk type of thing. It's almost like when you say to someone, oh my gosh, like, I'm worried, I feel like, I may not get into university, and then they're like, nah, don't worry, you'll get in. And at that time, maybe that's not what you need someone to just actually care, like, to actually like engage and be like, I don't know, but you just need someone to say the right words, and you find that sometimes someone is just saying the appropriate thing, and it's not like coming from 100%. So, yeah, There's been many of those incidents that have happened, but I'll just stay to that one example. But the point is, what I've realized is that no one will treat me like my mother or my parents. Yes, my father also was a parent. He was protective, he was there, he was loving. He actually also listened to what we said, but he was a little bit like on the surface level with things. That's why I guess it's important to have two parents, like the mother and the father, so that they can help out with different things that happen to the child, because maybe I know something and then my husband doesn't know something, about life, and my kid is saying something and he's just like, what? And you sometimes don't take kids seriously. So I think my mother was one of that parent who's like, no, I see that this kid is the future. And my dad was just like, he also was there and he played his role and he was protective, but I'm just stating that disadvantage of losing a mom. And the fact that I realized that no one will ever love me like that, and that I should accept it and just be grateful that I experienced it. And there was experiences that I've had that made me grateful for real, because I even had a friend who ended up being my boyfriend. But when we would talk, he would tell me, like, we ended up opening up to me, and then he was like, no, actually the mother that he lives with at home is not his actual mother, it's his stepmother. His real mother passed away when he was 6 months in an accident, and he doesn't know his mother, and he doesn't, like, I don't know, when he speaks about his mom, he even looks like he doesn't feel anything, and like, but he was such a bright personality, such a great human being, so positive, so full of light. And I thought to myself, this guy's inspiring me, like, life can go on and you can be fine without your mom. Like, guys, I may sound like such a baby, but it's really the one thing that I it's hard for me to get over, So that guy made me see that no, man, you can be fine, you can just be positive and like trust in yourself and like be like, that's what life, even situations that happened in my life, like being betrayed by family, like just seeing that some aunts, they don't really have good intentions. You feel the type of jealous energy, you see that they don't really are also not coming from 100%. It's like, I don't know, guys, maybe I'm crazy, but I just feel things. I believe. Maybe, who knows. We all do though, like we all can sense like when there's tension in a room and stuff like that, like energy is real, So yeah, and going back to the importance of having like two parents in the child's life, like even the stages I went through, like as a teenager, because I'm a female and my dad is a male, so he obviously will not understand some things, and he will not be able to advise me in some things. As I told you guys in my story of me leaving home at 18, like my dad, he was so strict. Like, he didn't want me to wear braids, didn't want lipstick. Like, I am a Bratz doll. What do you mean? I used to hate it. And then it goes to the stages of like, when I was on my period and my dad like literally didn't know what to do. I remember him telling me to put toilet paper there. That is the thing that they taught us later on, that you shouldn't put toilet paper there. It's the worst thing. That's what I found out later on. But he didn't know, so imagine if I had that, female role in my life, and just to let me know about boys, my dad could have too, but he's just such a Hitler, as I told you. So yeah, just guidance, advice from someone who is 100% for me. Like, when they open their mouth about things that I tell them, I know that they are coming from 100%. They want the best for me. Do you understand? So yeah, like sometimes you tell people things and then they use it against you, they take advantage of it, and it's like, bro, I just wanted you to like reached a stage of acceptance, just accepting that she, you know, she's gone, and accepting that I will never have that mother role, and just accepting the fact that I have to now drive this car myself and know that I am my mother, I am, you know, my father, I am everything I need right now, and knowing that I must rely on myself and my intuition and God, because that's what I've realized now. That's the only thing I can rely on. You can't trust no one. Like, what the hell, you know? So yeah, I've just reached that level of acceptance, guys. Like, I listen to my intuition, and there's been a lot of times where my intuition spoke to me and I just chose to go the logical way or just make sense of it. No, I'm realizing now that is my guide. That is my, like, that thing where, that 100% thing, you know, because that's what I've always wanted, like someone to just, this feedback, just advice, love, purity, peace, happiness, 100%, you know. So now I'm like, okay, in God I can find happiness, you know. From my intuition I can get guidance. My intuition is like also God, you know. It is your spirit, is you. So if you out there are experiencing what I'm experiencing, and you also were going through these stages or are going through a stage, I want you to know that you can be everything you need. You know, you can rely on yourself. You need to be strong, and you need to know that you are the one, you know, and trust yourself. You know, this thing of, I made so many mistakes, guys, after losing my mother, thinking that people have good intentions for me, and my heart told me, but I didn't want to listen to my heart. I was looking for a physical reason to, you know, make sense of it. So yeah, follow your heart, listen to God. You know, God has been the best parent to me. So yeah, and this is the end of my video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and do let me know what you think of it. Let me know what else you'd like